This is the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA, a weekly recap of your Eagles and news around the NFL. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by Rob's Automotive and Collision, BCWSA, Chickies and Pete's, Begley, Carlin and Mandio Law Firm, Penworth Financial Services, Penn Community Bank, The Capitol Grill, and Ventresca's LTD. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts. From Inside the Birds, Adam Caplan, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. It's Adam Caplan, as the man said, from Inside the Birds. We've got our great beat reporter, Andrew DiCecco, and our special guest, a man who's been with the Eagles a couple decades. He's an Eagles Insider. He's the great Dave Spadaro. Dave, great to see you.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. 29th, let's see, 29th season.
I was going to guess 30. That's amazing.
29 years, 29 seasons, 28 years.
Wow. How heavy is that ring?
It's very heavy, Adam. You have not seen the ring. Have you held the ring? Have you seen the ring? We don't talk about last year's ring, but
sure.
It is. But I usually bring it around and just give it to fans. It's a door knocker. It's not a ring. There's nothing you can do with it. It is so large that you have to have special protection and a chiropractor handy to wear it. But it is obnoxious. It is bling, and it is wonderful. And hopefully the Eagles will get an even bigger one this year.
That's right.
Who knows?
You've got two. You've got two.
It's been a great run. I mean, it's funny today. I got a call from the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and
are you going in?
No, I'm not going in. But they're doing some things, and they mentioned some names that are being considered out there. And one of the names in the conversation was Jim Gallagher. Now, Andrew, you're too young to know Jim Gallagher. So Jim Gallagher is one of only, I think, two media relations, public relations people in any team's Hall of Fame. Lee Remner is in Green Bay's Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And Jim Gallagher is in the Eagles Hall of Fame. And for those who don't know who Jim Gallagher is, Jim Gallagher worked with the Eagles for decades upon decades through the 60s, 70s, 80s. I think he made it midway through the 90s, late into the 90s maybe. And it's just like you think back like, oh my God, I'm the one who's been around.
It's amazing.
For that long, and I used to be the young guy. Now I'm the old guy. It certainly feels
come
good.
on, not as far as you know.
certainly. Thank you. That's exactly
you're not
right.
the old guy.
That's the old guy.
I'm
the old guy. But it's really great to be around, and fantastic organization. Blessed to be a member of the Philadelphia Eagles.
So we are here at Chicky and Pete's on Roosevelt Boulevard. It's Adam Caplan, Andrew DiCecco, and Dave Spadaro. So Dave, let's get right to it.
Yeah.
You've been with this team a long time. To shut a club, your opponent out, I don't care what their record is. That's really impressive. Let's get your opening thoughts on the big win against the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a needed win for sure. I mean, the 3 losses was taxing. I'll give you a funny story to begin.
Sure.
So on Friday morning, a couple of members from the Raiders alumni program came in.
Oh,
and
really?
They came to the NovaCare complex.
Okay.
And they had flown in on Thursday night. And they told us the first thing they did, they raced to get a car, and they wanted to turn on Sports Talk Radio.
Oh no, he's here.
And they wanted to hear. They wanted
Get
to
out
hear.
of here.
They wanted to hear if Eagles fans are as the reputation suggests, and they could not stop laughing. They were hilarious about the misery that Eagles fans are feeling or were feeling for a team that has been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 8 years. Has been in the last two of the last 3 Super Bowls and has won 2 of the last 8 Super Bowls, and at that point was 8-5 in first place in the NFC East. And they're like, hey, we're 2-11 and we haven't won a Super Bowl since 1983. And all Eagles fans are doing is complaining. What is this town all about? And our point was that it's great passion. And so to alleviate some of that stress, some of that misery with a win over the Raiders, a team that is as bad as I've ever seen. It was kind of they call it a get-right game. It was a get-right game for the Eagles on every front. The offense came right out and scored. The defense played really well. The special teams did its job. No injuries. And combined with the loss by the Dallas Cowboys, the Eagles' magic number in the NFC East is now 1.
Right. So let me ask you, Andrew, and we'll get to you, Dave, because you're in there too. Locker room, because Sirianni kind of alluded to it. if you watch Hard Knocks, he's talking about shutting out the outside noise and all that.
Sure, yeah.
You've really go with a pulse of, because you talked to a lot of players, you've gotten to know them. Were they feeling it with that losing streak?
No, because the sense that I always got from talking to them is that they know what they're capable of, and they knew what they needed to do in terms of, details, fundamentals, and things like that, that they sort of lost their way. But they know how talented they are, so they never wavered or they never lost, belief in the messaging or anything. And I think if you're an Eagles fan listening, you could take solace in the fact that after that game, after they demolished the Raiders, blanking them 31-0, preeminent leaders on that unit, whether it was Jordan Davis, who said, we did what we were supposed to do, or Cooper DeJean, who said, that's what this game should have looked like. They weren't feeling themselves, they weren't getting complacent, but they were more having a business-like approach. And that, to me, is the mark of a really good football team.
And I will say this, I agree with you, Andrew. I'll say this, I think that while that is all true, I think the Eagles really did feel relieved in just a little bit. I mean, getting back on the winning track, winning does cure all ills, and this team knew it needed a win. And to have the Cowboys breathing down your neck like that, and to play the game the Eagles played on Monday night, where a lot of things went well against the Chargers, but the giveaways really cost the team. So to come out and do things the right way, I think they expected that to happen. And then when it did, I think they just felt really a pretty deep sigh of relief and like, hey, let's go and get ready for the Washington Commanders. And then when the Dallas Cowboys lost to Minnesota, I mean, that changes everything from a mindset standpoint.
Sure.
The Eagles need one win or a Cowboys loss to clinch the NFC East. Do you still hope to get the number one seed? Yeah, but mathematically it's going to be very difficult to do that.
Sure.
But this might provide a chance for the Eagles with a win on Saturday to give them some rest going down the stretch.
Let me ask you a question about Nick Sirianni, because every player we've had on, we've asked this question. And Nick has had an incredible run here. Let's face it.
Yes,
I mean,
I agree.
He's been phenomenal. I mean, he's a guy that people thought was a joke when he was hired. Same people said that about Andy Reid, who'd never been a coordinator. But
Jeffrey Lurie has an amazing track record
really good.
of coaches.
So let's get to it. Your thoughts on Nick Sirianni from day one in 21 through now?
At first, a little overwhelming for him. He didn't really surround himself with those veteran coaches, and you kind of wondered, when Andy came in, it was Jim Johnson as a defensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator was a longtime guy in the league, too. I forget who it was. Do you remember, Adam, who it was?
Dowhauer.
Rod Dowhauer. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then Brad Childress,
and then
right?
Brad Childress. And so guys had been in the league for a while, so kind of paved the way and show you how to do things. But Nick figured it out, and with the surrounding cast, the one thing about the Eagles, there's a lot of longevity in the building. And I'm certainly not part of the coaching staff, but I'm part of the longevity. So, Howie has been there for a while. The Eagles, John Ferrari, assistant general manager. I mean, there's a lot of people who have been in place and have had a lot of success who could kind of show Nick the way. He learned very well. He delegated well. He was smart enough early to give his play calling duties to Shane Steichen.
How about that?
And he creates and still does an incredibly energetic atmosphere, a collegiate atmosphere, everything from all the competition they have to the various speakers and motivational moments that they have to the basketball hoop in the auditorium.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, sure.
I mean, it is a very lively, entertaining message from him on a daily basis, and I think that really makes it fun for the players.
Andrew, you've been covering the team for a while now. You've been around Nick. You've seen Nick at practice, at training camp, and so forth. What are your thoughts on this guy?
He has a lot of passion, and he's obsessed with the game of football, but he finds different ways to freshen his messaging, and it always seems to resonate. To be able to get, and Dave, you know this, to be able to get 90 players, I'm looking at it through the lens of training camp, to get all of those players to buy in, it takes a special kind of leader. And just from being around Nick Sirianni, he learns from previous mistakes, whether it was 2021 and the play calling, whether it was 2023 and the slide at the end of the season. He's talked about having notes about how to, rectify that so that it doesn't happen again. I just think that he's constantly searching for different ways to, refine his coaching. And even if that's talking to other coaches in other sports in the offseason, just to kind of, hone in on that area.
And I think Andrew hit on a really important point. Nick is a student of the game. there have been multiple instances where during a press conference he's asked about something and he'll cite case studies or various examples of moments during a game or, scenarios that he had researched, that he had prepared for. And this is a man who is completely obsessed with the game. And I hearken back to that first press conference when he's in an empty auditorium. All of the media are absent. It was during COVID, and they're up on a board, right? So they're up on a video screen, and he really stumbled. And he got skewered for his opening
big time.
press conference.
Big time. Nationally, too.
Right, and the seeds, playing with the and so, kind of squaring the circle here, the way that the Raiders organization, when they came in, they couldn't wait to sample the Philadelphia Eagles fan base, right? And when the media makes such an immediate verdict on a head coach, a hot take that is so premature, to have Nick weather that, I think he's a Philly guy. I mean, he's very strong internally. I personally think he's one of the best coaches, and his record shows it, that the NFL has had in the modern day. I mean, his record has been fantastic. Now, do you question some of his play calls? Yes. Do you wonder some of the things that he does, the methods that he has? Of course. And then you look around the league, and you see just how bad it is around the league, and you kind of go, hey, wait, we got something pretty special here in Nick Sirianni. And I think his win-loss record talks about that, speaks to that.
Yeah, and Howie Roseman, you mentioned Howie, he's a longtime employee. This is another guy who's been incredibly resilient. You know, of course, what happened in 2015 when he was reassigned. He comes back with just incredible passion and energy.
And he's hitting on his draft picks.
I know, which is
at the top of the draft, which they really
first and second round, he's
done.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's actually one of the best drafters early.
Yeah.
First day, second day, third day is another story, but first and second day, phenomenal. I could. It's hard to know what he was thinking or why he's turned it around, but I got to bring up one guy. This made me think of, as you said that, I'll admit it, I never thought Jordan Davis would be a player because we saw he was grossly overweight. You wondered how he loved football because I was in a scouting report from talking to people around the league, and this kid is dominating now, Dave. You've been around this kid, and Andrew, you've been around him. Tell us about Jordan Davis.
Isn't he? I mean, he's physical. He's penetrating. He's really played well against the run. He's added to the pass rush.
A little bit,
His durability has been terrific. He's made plays, and I think it's fair to wonder for the first couple of years of his career, would he make it? And then all of a sudden, midway through last season, you see a new Jordan Davis.
Yeah, he also brings a lot of levity, right? I think that in the marathon that is an NFL season, you need that. But he's sort of taken on that role where he's never in a bad mood. He, is somebody whose voice resonates throughout the locker room, and I just think he's really grown into his role. Everybody progresses at different rates, and you can't expedite that. But for Jordan Davis, he's much more comfortable. He's in better shape, and I think that when you're playing well, that also lends to being, a little bit more jovial and things like that.
Sure.
But he has also stepped up as a leader.
It's incredible. So we know they lost 2 weeks ago at the Chargers, but for this defense to make a big jump since the Bears game without Jalen Carter, Dave, is pretty impressive to me.
No doubt about it. And look, there have been a lot of great coaches in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles coordinators. I would put Vic Fangio up with any of them, obviously, right?
The late great Jim Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, his ability to identify the skill sets of his players and to tailor the scheme to those skill sets rather than trying to fit the square hole or the square peg into the round hole.
Sure.
And Cooper DeJean, all right, we know Cooper DeJean's a really good slot, maybe the best slot cornerback we've seen, nickel cornerback we've seen in recent years. You try to make him an outside cornerback, you give him a shot, you realize it's just maybe not quite there, get him right back into the slot position. Like I just think that
coaching's great.
The way that he's used the linebackers, the way he has brought back Nakobe Dean and accentuated his skill set.
Yeah.
A guy like Byron Young who's stepped up and become such a really good player.
Former Raider, ironically.
And, the way that Jalix Hunt
Yes.
has come from such a small school. And in year number 2, what we're witnessing here is a kid who's just played great football off the edge.
You're right.
To incorporate Jalen Phillips so quickly into the defense is impressive. So, it's a terrific defense, and it's a terrific Vic Fangio's an awesome coach. And that's part of the magic, too, of Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie and Nick Sirianni. And it's a trust factor. And the reason the Philadelphia Eagles are so successful, it starts with Jeffrey. his ability to identify head coaches, his trust in Howie Roseman, the people they put around them, the culture that is there at the NovaCare complex. And it really gets highlighted when you see that the Eagles play a team like the Las Vegas Raiders, who had no interest in being on the field Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field, so much so that they were there for only 2.5 hours before they folded up the
That was the Dave. That is, we all know,
second fastest game
exactly
in NFL history, or whatever, like recent year.
I think since like maybe 91 or something like that.
But crazy. Yeah,
but just to quickly add to what you were saying, in addition to Vic Fangio, his coaching staff, his assistant coaches, Christian Parker, I've talked about for the better part of the past 2 years. I think he's going to be a defensive coordinator in the future.
We hope not.
But you look at Bobby King, Clint Hurt, they do such a fantastic job of explaining the fundamentals and the whys behind what they're asking their players to do.
Yep.
And there's no mistake when you look across the board that pretty much every player has making notable strides in their development.
All right, you're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. We'll be right back.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Looking for the best place to host your holiday party this season? Look no further than your neighborhood Chickies and Pete's. We offer a variety of party packages to make your holiday gathering merry and bright. Hosting your own party? Chickies comes to you with our to-go catering, complete with all your Chicky and Pete's favorites. Plus, add a hometown flair to any event with our Chickies and Pete's food truck, the Crab Fries Express. Your place or ours, take the stress out of the holidays with help from Chickies and Pete's.
Rob's Automotive and Collision Center in Lower Bucks County is a full-service repair center with competitive prices, top-of-the-line products, and the finest auto body and mechanical repair technicians anywhere. Rob's makes repairing your car easy. Same-day service guaranteed. Whether it's an oil change, state inspection, or a mechanical issue, Rob's will have you in and out and on your way. 2700 Veterans Highway in Bristol, 215-826-9200 for 24-hour emergency towing. Call 215-826-0250.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts from Inside the Birds, Adam Caplan and Andrew DiCecco.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. It's Adam Caplan and Andrew DiCecco from Inside the Birds, and our special guest is longtime Eagles Insider, the great Dave Spadaro. We're Chicken Pete's on Roosevelt Boulevard till 7 p.m. It's now time for this week's injury review, brought to you by the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689. That's 215-806-3689. So we'll get right to the Eagles. They have a short list. Lane Johnson with this Frank sprain, which ended Mike Mamula's career. Mike was our guest, and we talked about that here on the Pro Football Report. But Lane is going to try to get back very, very soon as we understand it. We'll see what he does this week in practice, and we'll see.
Today was a walkthrough. Right. I don't know yet if he was there. Interesting. Does the loss by the Cowboys change how quickly you want to bring Lane back? You don't really have to force him back against the Washington Commanders. But the fact that he's even being considered to play on Saturday is extremely encouraging for the Philadelphia Eagles. All you want is to have Lane Johnson on the field when the playoffs begin. And the same with Jalen Carter. If you can get those two players back and there's no further injuries, I mean, look, if the Eagles get a little bit of rest down the stretch here, guys, I feel that they can beat anybody in the NFC.
Yeah,
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And
they're healthy enough.
Yeah, to your point, maybe they changed their approach with Lane Johnson. We'll find out. But, I think Fred Johnson has done a nice job, filling in for the last 4 games.
Very valuable, Andrew. Think about if Howie didn't reacquire him from Jacksonville because they traded Kennard.
Yeah.
They were running out of players, and he's a solid.
He's just a solid football player.
Dave,
it's amazing to
think
me.
about Fred Johnson's career, right? This guy's a journeyman. He was very upfront. He was very down on himself when he first got here.
Yep.
And you guys, so tell us about Fred Johnson, Dave. You've got
really athletic, huge body. Jeff Stoutland believes in him. Didn't work for him really with the Bengals, with the Steelers. I think he was with Tampa Bay for a minute.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he comes here. He's impressive. The Eagles extend him. I remember in that training camp back a couple of years ago, and he has ended up playing a pretty key role in the last couple of years here with various injuries at the offensive tackle positions, notably with Lane Johnson. But he's done well. Look, Jeff Stoutland likes to get these big pieces of clay and then mold them into really good offensive linemen, and Fred Johnson is an excellent example of one of those players. And so it just is amazing to me. Fred goes and signs with the Jacksonville Jaguars and just didn't find any traction down there. Was not playing well in the summer. So the Eagles kind of flipped the Jaguars a late pick.
7th, yeah.
Yeah, and he's here and he's starting. He's playing well. And where would the Eagles be without
Fred
Johnson?
That's
And,
why I
and
brought it
of
up,
all
yeah.
of the free agents that Howie brought in, not a lot of them have worked out, right? Like, Uche,
was doing well.
Yeah, but
Uche was doing well, but
it's okay.
yeah.
Ojulari didn't work. Was
He got
injured.
hurt, yeah.
Adoree Jackson has stepped up and played well the
Hanging
last
in
couple
there.
of weeks.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I would say Fred
Harrison Bryant.
Yeah,
right.
A.J. Dillon, had his shot,
Yep.
and kind of after that fumble at New York, he hasn't played. It seems like Fred Johnson has been the marquee guy in free agency, and he was kind of an afterthought as the regular season was beginning.
Sure, all right. So the other injuries, Jalen Hurts turned his ankle. We'll see if he shows
He's
up
okay.
in the injury report.
Yeah.
Saquon with the neck, if you saw him on the sidelines working it out.
Yeah.
Andrew, we'll see about Jalen Carter, not this week, but when he could return with the procedure from both shoulders, which we think is some sort of a shot, whether it's cortisone or whatever. But now let's get to the Commanders. The Eagles play at Washington, we should say in Landover, Maryland, Dave.
Yes.
We'll get to that later, that stadium, which is a nightmare. But at 5 Eastern, kind of an odd time, Jane Daniels will not play. He's got the left elbow dislocation. He re-injured it in the last game. They're being smart with their franchise quarterback. He's going to practice, but he will not play. Here's where the Washington's missing players. Austin Eckler, who was their starter for the season. He tore his right Achilles in week 3. He's done for the season, right? They don't really have a third down back. Jeremy McNichols, I'm told, is kind of it because he's really good pass protector, but he doesn't give you much juice.
He used to fumble a lot.
But he's been in the league 10 years. He's been with a lot of teams.
He started with the Buccaneers.
Yep, exactly. Jason Light drafted him. Now, Chris Rodriguez took over because, talking to the Washington, they wanted a physical back. Bill Jaworski, or not, Jacory, what's his last name?
Krosky?
Krosky Merritt.
Yeah, Krosky Merritt, right. Jacory Krosky Merritt, right?
He's
not physical.
Where was he taken? What round? Was he a 7th round pick?
7th.
Yeah, I think
and he's their leading rusher. He's done a good job.
Yeah. He's explosive, but he's not physical. They wanted a physical run game because with Marcus Mariota starting, you don't want him throwing a lot.
Didn't they have that with Brian? What was the kid that went to San Fran?
Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
They did, but
one-cut guy, downhill runner.
Yeah.
They would have loved to have him now, but back then they thought Krosky Merritt could be that guy, but he's not physical enough. But Krosky Merritt, you'll see him on Saturday quite a bit. Other injuries, Luke McCaffrey lost for the rest of the season, broke his collarbone. Our friend Zach Ertz tore his right ACL. You just wonder.
Yeah, you wonder if it's over for Zach Ertz. I feel for his family.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And then defensively, this is how it's been, Andrew, for the season. So they're feeling real good about themselves coming into the season. We just talked about their offensive injuries. They lose both edges, starting edges. Dietrich Wise comes over on a free agent deal. Right quad tear, he'll be out to next summer. That's a really bad injury. He went on IR week 3. Dorrance Armstrong tears his ACL. He's out week 8. How do you survive this?
Yeah, you have to lean on your depth and probably some practice squad call-ups.
Well, here's the thing about it. This means to me, coming out of last year, Washington goes to the NFC Championship
Came out of
game.
nowhere. Yep.
The window in the NFL can be so very quick, closed very quickly. I felt that going into the season, they went out and got Deebo Samuel. The Commanders were, to me, an old team.
They're the oldest team in the NFL.
Yeah,
by the way.
and that really kind of caught up with them this year. And it's you look at Washington, and you go, they're not the hot young team in the NFC anymore. They are a team where a year ago, if we had talked about who made the best pick in the 2024 NFL draft, would it be Chicago with Caleb Williams or Washington with Jaden Daniels? 100% of the votes would have gone to Jaden Daniels. Now I'm not sure you would say that, right? Jaden Daniels has been injured all season. Caleb Williams is leading his Chicago Bears into the postseason to top the NFC North. It's a crossroads kind of offseason for the Washington Commanders. This year is lost for them. That said, it's really, really difficult for the Philadelphia Eagles, for any team, to beat a team twice in 3 weeks. First things first, got to beat them on Saturday at whatever the field is called now.
Northwest Stadium.
Yeah, Northwest
Not
Stadium at
called
FedEx
FedEx anymore,
Field.
yeah.
But I do think that there's a thought in me after watching the Raiders that teams like this just don't show up on a cold December day late in the season. It's just not going to happen for the Washington Commanders.
Also, in this is where they also got crushed in the secondary.
Latimer, old guy, another old guy.
ACL.
What did they trade for him, Adam?
They gave up 2 picks for him.
Yeah.
And
were they significant draft picks?
It wasn't at first,
From the
but
Saints,
they gave yes. Lattimore tore his ACL. He went on IR week 10. Trey Amos, the second-round pick out of Mississippi, broke his ankle. He went to IR week 11. Jonathan Jones, who they acquired because they had lacked depth, he didn't play last week due to a rib injury. This is how bad it's gotten for them. Antonio Hamilton, who's been a dime corner, basically like a fourth or fifth corner, he had to start. Noah Igbohagany, who was a first-round pick from Miami.
Dolphins, right.
Who's actually, I'll give this guy credit. Yes, first-round pick of the Dolphins. He was a bust. He's actually played some nickel. He's played corner. He starts in Sanders-Stroll. He could play. He's basically
I like
their nickel.
Sanders still, yeah.
But that's it. Quan Martin out of Temple, and Will Harris has been around. They have nobody else, Andrew.
Quan Martin, Illinois, no?
He has no, but Will Harris and Quan Martin, right? Illinois, right? Quan Martin was a team captain,
right? Good
player who could play nickel. But they're running out of players. Bobby Wagner, I'm told, doesn't move very well anymore from tape. Frankie Louvu, Mr. Blow up the tush push, as you know.
Foul. Yeah.
Von Miller, you talk about it, Dave. You know, this is crazy for those locals. Jacob Martin, who was a good player 10 years ago, he was their 5th edge to start the season. He starts, they ran out of players, Andrew. You know?
Yeah, that's the situation that they have.
Yeah.
By the way, Martin, the safety, he played at Illinois with Quan Martin played with Sidney Brown. They were the 2 safeties there.
Quan's a pretty good player.
So what's your point here, Adam?
The point is, you guys, you work for the Eagles, so you're a team employee.
What is your point?
You guys are looking good here with matchups.
Yeah, of course. They're 4. What's the record? 4-10.
Yeah, that's why they're so bad.
Yeah, I mean they've suffered injuries. You lose your starting quarterback. The offense doesn't score many points. The defense has been horrendous. They're old. They had the pressure of expectation this year after sneaking up on teams last year, and let's face it, getting lucky in a lot of games. The Hail Mary game, for example.
Oh yeah.
A lot of late wins. Yeah. And when you are a marked team in the NFL, it is very difficult to win. So that said, they break an 8-game losing streak, or they end after 8 straight losses. They end the losing streak with a win over the Giants on Sunday. So maybe they're feeling a little bit good about themselves with Marcus Mariota as the starting quarterback, looking for vengeance against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, all right, up next, we'll give our keys to the game for an Eagles win over the host Commanders. You're listening to the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA right here on 1490, WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. We will be right back.
Hey, it's Pete reminding you Chicky and Pete's gift cards are the gift that always fits and always gets returned. All holiday season long, buy a $50 Chicky and Pete's gift card and get a $10 Chicky and Pete's bonus card. Then follow our socials for the days of Chicky and Pete's double bonus days. Get 2 $10 bonus cards for every $50 you spend. Year after year, the gift that always fits and always gets returned. Gift cards from Chickies and Pete's.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
Hey, BCWSA customers, this is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. My friends at BCWSA are committed to providing us with safe, reliable water and sewer services. They operate state-of-the-art treatment facilities, provide clean drinking water, and make much-needed investments to protect our environment and ensure a sustainable future. Learn how BCWSA's investments help grow and serve our communities. Visit bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts from Inside the Birds, Adam Caplan and Andrew DiCecco.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. It's Adam Caplan and Andrew DiCecco from Inside the Birds and the great Dave Spadaro, the Eagles Insider on X.
Oh my gosh!
Are you that? Is that? Are you?
I
that
am
guy?
not on X. I'm on the. I don't do X anymore. I think I'm the real Dave Spadaro, and I don't.
Oh,
I
really?
I haven't posted once. I don't have any followers. I just do it to troll people politically.
How do you respond to something like that?
Yeah, you don't respond.
Are you on IG?
Instagram though? I am on Instagram, the Eagles Insider.
Nice, man.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Nice, man.
You always post like pizza pictures.
Well, every once in a while.
Adam, yeah.
On IG. I mean, what? You know, am I going to put
Not
news
like
out on
sexy pictures of you without a shirt on or anything fun
there?
like
You know,
that.
I am 203 pounds.
You're looking great, pal.
Svelte.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Svelte Adam Caplan.
Andrew, are you a big social media guy?
Only because I have to be for my job.
Right, right.
But I only post business-related, like work-related stuff.
Have you had any
vacation
But on IG,
pictures.
you do a lot of personal stuff, which is good, though. All the music stuff. I like that.
The music stuff, yeah. So I'm really into music. But I don't no vacation pictures or anything like that.
Nothing of you lying by the pool?
No,
In LA,
no.
you were in LA, though, last week, right?
Yeah, but nothing by the pool. More like a music venue and things
No
like
pizza
that.
joints? By the way, do you get any pizza when you're out there?
I went to the Rainbow Bar and Grill, the famous Rainbow Bar and Grill, and had a really good pie there.
All right.
Interesting.
All right, everyone. It's time now for this week's Penworth Financial Keys to the Game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today at 267-997-4503 or visit them at penworth.com. All right, let's get to it. Eagles offense, Dave. Last two games, look, running game's been better, Dave. How are we feeling about Saquon Barkley and Tank Bigsby against Washington?
Yeah, I feel good about the Redskins or the Commanders allow, I believe, 134 plus yards per game on the ground. I think they're 28th in the league against the run. They don't generate a ton of pass rush pressure either. Yep. There's not much of a threat on that defense. I feel like a key to the game, of course, is, look, I always start with turnovers. The Eagles are 41-2 when they win the turnover battle with Nick Sirianni as the head coach.
Wow.
But I think they can run the football. And I think they've shown signs here of having an improved run game, hitting the edges a bit more, moving defensive linemen laterally effectively. I think that's been really promising for them. Yep. Tank Bigsby, I know fans have been calling for him. We got to see him late on Sunday against the Vegas Raiders, and he looked good again. Saquon's got some juice. I like the Eagles kind of controlling the line of scrimmage and doing what they want against the Commanders' defense that just doesn't have much.
Andrew, what would you like to see from the Eagles offense in terms of, okay, this is what they need to do if they want to win this game?
Well, run the football. Foundationally, we know that that's what they want to do. They made strides there the past couple of weeks. Obviously, play a clean game. They had three penalties last week for about 35 yards. But really lean on Saquon Barkley, work in some Tank Bigsby, and continue to build on what they were doing in games against the Chargers and the Raiders when, under center, mixing up, a little pony package in there. And
motion.
Really, a lot of motion.
That was
a lot
crazy.
of motion.
Yeah.
Because I think teams like this are really good to refine that, against and work on that moving forward into the postseason.
Dave, it's interesting because people were on Kellen Moore for 2 months. After that great game against Green Bay in Brazil, and the offense sputtered for a couple months. Then, all of a sudden, more motion. Hurts was getting more comfortable with him. Well, I know the Charger game Hurts turned the ball over. I'm not excusing that.
But he did a lot of good things in that game.
He made some great throws.
He did do a lot
Dave.
of good things in that game.
And my big thing is, we put this on IG for our show, is about when Jalen is decisive, because he's got a strong arm, he looks like you go, wow, where's that been? Because it's a really good throw. He made some really good throws last week.
Made some really good throws. Gave his receivers an opportunity to catch the ball through with some anticipation,
And some inside,
which at
too.
times he does not do as much. And look, I think sometimes you need that game where you have the step back game and you take some chances. You turn the football over and you go, okay, well, it's okay. I know we lost the game, but I'm going to take the positives out of this and I'm going to come out slinging. And when you get time, go back to Fred Johnson and the job he did with Max Crosby. A lot of one-on-one. He got beat once in the red zone, but I mean that's going to happen. Max Crosby is just a terrific football player. I feel like Jalen is kind of starting to really feel it a little bit, and it's really interesting that. I always love underdogs. Darius Cooper.
Yes.
Who you guys should get on the show. He's a great kid, a great story.
The story's amazing. Yeah.
He's getting a little bit of time here and there, a little bit more time, and he had a catch. He's had a couple of PIs the last 2 games.
Blocked for the run game.
Really good blocking in the run game, and I just think the weapons are starting to open up a little bit. And I really love the way that they used Dallas Goedert in motion, the way they moved him around the formation. The routes were varied, and he killed the Vegas Raiders defense. So, and he got both AJ and Devontae involved in the game. And so sometimes that is a challenge, but it's all going to start with the run game. I think they come out running on Saturday, and I think they'll have success as long as they avoid the negative plays. If they can avoid playing from behind the sticks, this offense I think will be okay as the offensive line gets healthier and healthier.
So, Dave, a key point here, and you were saying it in passing, is limiting mistakes. They only had 3 penalties. DeJean on the personal foul, which he shouldn't have had. He got caught. Tyler Lockett got in his face.
Yeah.
But you can't push him.
Good bait him.
You can't push him.
Yeah, you can't. Exactly. You can't do that,
He
right?
flopped.
The veteran baited him.
Right. Sidney Brown had another, and Tyler Steen had his usual one. And it's funny because the camera's he was looking at the scoreboard. He wanted to see the video board to see what he did wrong. But that's progress because they've had a lot of penalties this season.
Oh, it's been
Dave.
too many penalties.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, I know that everybody wants to blame this or that. It comes down to, as the players say, shooting themselves in the foot, too many self-inflicted wounds, way too many penalties. That it's just a lack of focus, a lack of discipline, a lack of technique. And so I think you have to put an emphasis more on how you practice, how you buckle down, how you focus, how you really play with urgency. And clearly the Eagles played with more urgency against a terrible football team on Sunday. And we'll see if that carries over to Saturday against another really bad team. So,
but it's a divisional game.
Look, I'm not taking anything for granted. I just know this. The Eagles are being presented here with a scenario that's much more favorable than, I'm sure, the conversation you had last week. If you win on Saturday, you can really what are your chances of getting to the number 1 seed?
Very difficult.
Very difficult, right?
Very
so
difficult.
Does 2 or 3 really matter that much? I'm not sure it does. You're playing San Francisco, you're playing Seattle, playing potentially Green Bay in the playoffs. You're hosting that game. And then you're playing the 2 seed or the 3 seed, which could be Chicago. Mm-hmm. So if you can strategically rest some of your starters and get them ready down the stretch for that playoff run, again, I feel great about the offense.
So, Dave, 7 snaps, 2 sacks for Brandon Graham. You've been around him a long time. What do you make about his transition inside? Yeah. And do you have a favorite Brandon Graham story that comes to mind?
Yeah, well, in life, everything about Brandon Graham is a scream. I mean, he's I did a lot of things with Brandon while he was retired, and he always had the itch. We talked about it for weeks and weeks before.
Oh, really?
It actually happened that he was going to come back and play. He kind of knew that there was an opportunity possibly.
Why
to
do you think so? What will you think he was like? He never could get out of his mind that he wanted to play.
Yeah,
like, what?
I think he felt he still had some gas left in the tank. And remember the last time that he really played a healthy game was the Rams game last year.
Unbelievable
he played very well.
game. Yeah.
Look, I think a lot of it is. I mean, the Raiders gave him a chance to play a little bit here. Like he was much better than what the interior of the Raiders offensive line was.
Fair enough.
I like the move down. They got a lot of really good. They really have had to. Focused offensive lines focus on Jalen Phillips. That opens up Brandon Graham for one-on-ones, and he was quick off the ball. He was powerful. He was direct to Kenny Pickett, and that kind of game helps in so many ways. We look at Brandon Graham as kind of a leader of the team.
Sure.
And he is. But when you're not really playing that much or that well, that message only goes so far with some players who haven't been around, who kind of go, okay, old man, we hear you, but you can only say so much. Now that he's had some success, had two quarterback sacks, I feel like his voice, his enthusiasm, his energy will be felt more and more. And it gives them another option inside that defenses continue to move pieces around. It's another piece of weapon. It's another weapon for Vic. The offenses have to be accountable for Brandon Graham now. And I like him inside more than I like him on the edge.
Yeah.
Andrew, since you brought up Graham, let's flip.
But I don't really have a funny story about BG other than
Or a favorite.
Yeah, I mean, a favorite story about Brown. I mean, I've had so many moments with BG coming back from the
16 years.
The 16th year coming back into the fold. He was just like a little kid. He was like a little rookie, and the joy that he played with this, which is a big word now being used with the Philadelphia Eagles. The energy that he had, the happiness that he had of getting this one final chance. It was really fun to see, and it was really cool to see him smiling, and it was just genuine.
Well, his energy, Dave, you know.
And I think it's very genuine.
When I play golf with him at the Mid-Penn Bank Classic in Hershey, I could tell you, I told him this, we were sitting down, I said, dude, being around you, I just feel different.
You can't have a bad day.
Yeah, exactly.
He makes everybody feel good around
amazing?
him.
Yeah.
And that's the strength.
It's
That's
so uplifting,
That's
isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
I never felt like that. No
Yeah.
offense, Dave, but I've never felt that with anyone around me before.
No
Rand or
offense
not, I'm
taken.
just kidding. But, Andrew brought up Graham and Eagles defense versus the Washington offense. I'll say this about Washington. Yes, they're having trouble at quarterback, obviously, because he's hurt. Eckler is lost for the season. They've had receiver injuries. Their line is really good. Tunsil's having a great year. He wants a new contract.
If he plays.
Josh Connolly's been a good story. He was a left tackle at Oregon. He's now playing right. He's great up pretty well. So they've talked about this Chris Paul, who's their strongest lineman physically, but he's super raw, Andrew. He's their left guard. So we'll see about that matchup. And Tyler Biotish is still there. Eagles know him, former Cowboy. And Cosme's come back well from his ACL injury. So it's a good line. Not great, but it's a good line. This should be a challenge coming on Saturday.
Yeah, well, look, we'll see because the Eagles have been generating some pretty good pressure. Now, you have to look at the –
by not blitzing.
Yes, and that was where I was going with
Good.
that. They've been able to facilitate a lot of pressure without having to send a lot of pressure, and that's how Vic Fangio likes to ideally run it, at least here in Philadelphia. But I'm curious to see the interior matchup because you mentioned Cosme. Biotis is a player who we've seen play for a while, and Moro Jomo picked up his 5th sack of the season. He's been playing – some really good football. I think that this is a matchup that favors, his quickness and power from the interior.
So I've got the injury report for you. So at the end of this segment, we'll talk about it. But you guys don't have it yet, but I do. That's why I'm the insider.
Be quiet.
If you are the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles, and you look and you go, okay, my defensive line, my interior, Jalen Carter's going to be going into year 3 next year. Jordan Davis goes into what, year 4 next year?
Yep, 5.
5. They picked up the 5th year. And Moro Ojomo will be year 4.
4.
Okay, and that's on a 4-year contract. How are you handling those contracts, those players moving forward?
Not easy.
Wow.
Not easy. And
Can you keep all 3?
And you got the Nakobe Dean situation, which is fascinating. Dave, I've seen a lot in this market with players coming back from not just one injury, multiple major injuries, 23 Liz Frank injury, and then the torn patellar tendon in 24. To be playing at this, he's playing elite football.
He is.
I've not seen anything like this before.
Your
here.
first-round draft pick last year is Shahad Campbell.
Who, by the way, wasn't playing badly.
He was playing well.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get, and then you got Cooper DeJean, who's in his 2nd year. You're going to have to look at that at some point.
Yep.
You've got Q, of course. I think Reed Blankenship's contract is up after this year.
Change agents, yep.
Yeah,
so good problem to have.
Yeah, that pendulum swinging as you're outlining it because eventually you're going to have to start paying some of these defensive guys.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have to start drafting.
It's happening right now.
Yeah, and you're going to have to start drafting offensive players.
How much time do we have, Chris, in this segment? All right, we got 2 minutes. All right, let me give you a little bit of the injury report
please
today.
do.
It was a walkthrough today.
Okay.
Barkley did not practice with a stinger. Of course, Carter and Lane did not practice shoulders and foot, respectively. Okay. Dickerson did not practice, calf injury.
Same one. Yep.
Fred Johnson, ankle injury, same thing.
Oh, Fred, okay. Yep.
Cam Latsu, a stinger.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay.
Bigsby limited with an illness, and then Bond full, Phillips full, Cameron Williams full.
Okay, so the ones with
So Jalen Hurts not on the injury list.
Okay, good. With the left ankle. And did you say Lane worked at all?
Lane did not work.
Did not. All right. Short week. That's not good for him to play. All right. Well, good stuff, guys.
Again, no need to rush Lane Johnson back.
I agree.
Sure.
Win the game,
and
then figure out what you want to do. Is it ridiculous to think, well, let's win the game first?
I agree. And that was the Penworth Financial Keys to the Game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today at 997-4503 or visit them at penworth.com. We'll be right back.
Chickies and Pete's reminds you it's a wonderful life.
The last thing I remember, I was outside Chickie and Pete's.
Of course, George. Chickie and Pete's is Philadelphia's most decorated and award-winning restaurant.
I give each of the kids a Chickie and Pete's gift card. It's the gift that always fits.
It's almost as good as getting your wings.
Yeah, that's right, Clarence. You can get your wings at Chickie's, and crab fries and lobster pizza and a hot beef sandwich.
You see, George, it really is a wonderful place, this Chickie and Pete's.
Rob's Automotive and Collision Center in Lower Bucks County is a full-service repair center with competitive prices, top-of-the-line products, and the finest auto body and mechanical repair technicians anywhere. Rob's makes repairing your car easy. Same-day service guaranteed. Whether it's an oil change, state inspection, or a mechanical issue, Rob's will have you in and out and on your way. 2700 Veterans Highway in Bristol, 215-826-9200 for 24-hour emergency towing. Call 215-826-0250.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts from Inside the Birds, Adam Caplan and Andrew DiCecco.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. It's Adam Caplan and Andrew DiCecco from Inside the Birds, and our good friend from the Eagles. He's an Eagles Insider, David L. Spadaro.
Thank you, Adam. What does it mean to be an Eagles Insider? I don't think it means anything anymore.
Well, tell
I
us.
didn't ask you that. What are you saying? I guess I did, so go ahead.
It means great things. It's fun. That's for sure. I don't think there's any breaking. Like, we don't break any news.
Sure.
You know, we used to back 20 years ago, but that's not our thing anymore.
How'd you get there, by the way? From the
I started with the Eagles. I came out of college, and all I wanted to do was be the next Merrill Reese.
Really? I didn't.
Yes,
you want to be a play-by-play guy?
I did. I did play-by-play at college. I did basketball play-by-play in college, and I loved it. And then I started sports writing for my hometown newspaper, the Westchester Daily Local News.
Yep.
Nice.
Shout out to them. And then we started a publication called Eagles Digest before you were born.
No.
In 1989.
I was a
full of
subscriber.
ads.
Buddy, thank you.
Full of ads.
I was about to ask you about the origins.
Yeah,
of that.
yeah. It was a publishing company in Miami, and they had the Steelers, the Dolphins, and the Saints and the Eagles. And then the Eagles in 1997, while we were still housed at the Vet, gained permission to build the NovaCare Complex and Lincoln Financial Field. Got all the funds. Our brilliant sports marketing vice president, Len Komorowski, a genius in the business, who later went on to become the president of the Cleveland Cavaliers, created an in-house media team, and I joined the Eagles organization to help run the media team. And our purpose was to create inventory, build an audience, and sell the inventory. And that was through television shows and print, and then especially the internet, which had great success doing that, and then that's just kind of mushroomed from there and gone in a bunch of different directions.
You guys were the innovators. Let me tell you, Joe Banner and whoever was there then, and Gordon after Joe. I worked for you for a few years, and I could tell you that Eagles Live show, Andrew, this live program that he would have, people would call in from like Netherlands.
I had a guy at the game
Crazy.
the game on Sunday come up to me and say, "Hey, Dave, I used to be the one who would call the show from. I was on tour in active duty in Afghanistan.
Oh my God! Wow!
And I was like, holy moly! And that happens to me
cool.
all the time, especially like when we go out to LA. You know, the LA game, there were tons of Eagles fans, and so many of them are transplanted Eagles fans, and you really get a sense of like how many Eagles fans there are around the world. And my job has always been to connect the organization's message with the fan base through all sorts of media, live events. I've done both of the Super Bowls and, anything that, and we have so many different corporate events and fan events, and they give me a chance to kind of format all the events and host them and carry forth the message of the Philadelphia Eagles. And, fortunately we've had great success. Like I was talking, I was a friend of mine with the Cardinals. I was on the phone with him on the way up, and they're going through a miserable season. And Jeffrey Lurie, since he's been here, 31 years. It's going to be 20 playoff appearances. This has been a tremendous, tremendous run of success.
What's his secret sauce, Dave? Jeffrey.
So I'll give you a story. So we win the Super Bowl, as you know, and then we have the ring ceremony in July. Was it July? It was July. It was just before the training camp started. And we have this big party. And it's every employee, and there's 270 employees of the Philadelphia Eagles who are not players. And so everybody's there. Everybody looks great. Everybody's having a wonderful time. And Jeffrey stands up when it's time to present the rings, and he thanks every single person, not name by name, but make sure to mention that every single person in the organization. The reason we won the Super Bowl is because everybody in this organization contributed to it. And then when it was time to get the rings, everyone, not just Saquon and Nick and Jalen, everyone got the rings at the same time. And you don't understand how much that means to everybody that they feel so valued. It doesn't happen in business. It doesn't happen in sports. It is Jeffrey Lurie's leadership. He sets the standard. And again, when you play a team like the Raiders, where they did not give a darn on Sunday, I can't even imagine not caring if you win or lose with the Philadelphia Eagles. The standard is so
hell
high.
No. If I could say that.
They don't care.
It's not going to happen.
They don't care.
No.
And so Jeffrey just makes everybody feel good about themselves. He has very high expectations. If you do not perform, you will not be there for long. But he's very fair. He encourages everyone to push the envelope, and you feel like your voice is heard. And so and he throws a lot of resources at coaching, analytics. The field, when you look at all these grass fields around the league, they're all torn up. Today the Eagles resodded around the logo in the middle of the field today, understanding that there's not a game for 3 weeks, and you can put a solar cover on it and the heating coils underneath. You can grow grass, and the field for that last game of the regular season and hopefully the postseason will be in phenomenal shape. And when you look and you see Tampa Bay's field's all ripped up, and Chicago's field's always ripped up, and Pittsburgh's field's always ripped up, and et cetera, every little detail matters to Jeffrey, and that's why we win. And I will say this also. The fans make a huge difference. And when the fans are tough on the Eagles, everybody takes note of it. Everybody appreciates it. It means that you care. Last year we had 3 home playoff games. It was great. There was a great home field advantage, just like in 2017, and you win as a village. And that's why I believe we win. That's why I believe the Philadelphia Eagles are such a class organization. And he hit on 2 things here, Adam. He hit on head coaching. Every coach he's hired, right, Andrew, has made the playoffs. And
it's amazing.
And the line of succession at quarterback has been strong. The line of succession at left tackle has been really strong. The philosophy is to build the offensive line, the defensive lines, and that's why you have sustained success.
And I'll give you one more. You got to give Jeffrey credit for sticking by Howie. Think about that. All the struggles he made. He instead of firing him, he re-signed him, Andrew. Most owners would have fired Howie, and you got to give Jeffrey credit.
Why? After when?
After what happened
in
with
2020.
I'm going back to 14. After the debacle, after Chip started falling out, and what happened with Chip, and then the year that Howie got reassigned, some said, you know what, it's not good. I don't need this guy here. He stuck by him. And you give Howie credit. His resiliency is remarkable. Yeah. His energy and passion. You talk to anyone who's ever dealt with him from another club. He's relentless. When he wants something, he doesn't stop.
He clearly has some really good relationships because he gets deals done.
He does.
Absolutely.
He does. He's great. Agents, you'll say this about agents will tell you, Andrew, you deal with a lot of agents like I do.
Yeah.
When he wants something done, a deal done, it's going to get done. He's just very aggressive. Why is he the number 1 GM in the National Football League? Because he knows how to roster build as we move forward here, Dave.
Yeah.
That's what makes him great. He just gets it, and it started by Jeffrey understanding how do you win offensive, defensive lines. I remember talking to Joe Douglas about
that
this.
was an Andy Reid.
It was, but they all got it.
Yeah.
Okay, they all got it. Jeffrey knew you got to throw to score. Now, it's a little different.
Throw early to score.
Go ahead and run to win, but a little different now. That's okay. You got to change up. But you mentioned earlier in the show, Dave, is that it all works together. You have to figure it out and communicate, okay, how are we going to win? We're going to build on the lines. Nick's got to communicate. He's got to hire good staff with Howie's assistants. And then Jeffrey's got to, okay, you mentioned the resources that he gives them. this is why they win, Andrew. How you grew up here too, not just a reporter, but you grew up here.
Yeah.
You've seen it all.
Yeah, and kind of hearing the way that Dave just outlined that really puts everything into perspective, because I'm only really able to speak on the years that I was covering the team, and you could see the investment that he puts in the team, and just the resources and support. And you look at Howie Roseman leaving no stone unturned, being resilient and aggressive if it means bettering the football team. I mean, that matters, and that resonates with every player who comes through that locker room. They're well aware of it. And then hiring coaches who have the emotional intelligence, right? I mean, that's
Jeffrey's brought up before, right? It's
yes,
big buzzword.
Yeah, I just think that they've really done a nice job collectively of establishing the culture there that makes it a place that everybody wants to be. I mean, you hear that from players.
Culture, what does that mean to you, Dave?
It means that, here's, again, I've never worked anywhere else, but
sure.
I'll give you an example again. Speaking about the Raiders. So the Raiders people come in, we have breakfast, and we do a little tour of the building. And these are people who are running their alumni program. And so Marcus Epps walks by.
Former Raider.
And I said, yeah, former Raider, Marcus Epps. You guys knew each other, right? And he goes, well, not in that building. Because in that building in Vegas, the team does not interact with the rest of the organization.
Wow.
With the Eagles, our building is relatively small by NFL standards. Everybody kind of commingles. We all eat in the same cafeteria. Our paths cross. They learn who to trust, and they will learn who's part of the team. So if they want to get, for example, tickets to a Sixers game, they know who to go to. If they want to get extra tickets or whatever, they know where to go. And it builds a community. It builds a team, not a football side and a business side. And when Chip Kelly came in, Chip divided the building. And you cannot have success if you are not all in it together. Hence, you can't be great without the greatness of others. We all we got, we all we need. These are slogans.
Time to hunt or whatever they say.
Yeah, these are slogans. Well, last year was we all we got. Or last year was you can't be great without the greatness of others, because it
really
takes
powerful.
Everyone, and it's not just the players, coaches. It's everyone in the organization feels that they have a little tiny part. If they do their job, sometimes you're not going to like it. During that Super Bowl ring ceremony, they played a clip, a video, great video, and during it, there's a spot of Nick saying, everybody's here for a reason. Everybody here has a role. You may not like the role, but you're here for a role. And there have been times in my job when I'm going, man, I'm not down with what they want me to do right now. And
oh wow,
yeah,
really,
but you have to come to grips with it. And
sure.
And if you don't,
that's life, man.
If you don't want to come to grips with it, and I think a lot of people,
we all go through that.
A lot of people, and I think a lot of people turn and head the other way. With the Eagles have been able to make sure that the people who are there for the team first and for their individual success second. And that, and certainly, look, Jeffrey here's another thing that he does. With the way they structure contracts and the way they kick things down the road.
Yes.
A lot of teams don't do that.
Nope.
And here we go. Let's go see the Washington Commanders.
Yes, that's right.
Go Birds.
All right.
I'm ready to go.
Special thanks to Dave Spadaro.
Guys. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
DiCecco. We will be at Chicky and Pizza Marlton. Next week it'll be Jeff Mosher and Andrew DiCecco. Thank you for listening. We'll speak to you soon.
You're listening to 1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at